I have a question for you. What is the most valuable thing you can possess? Go ahead, think about it. Maybe you're thinking happiness, money, time, but those are all wrong. To answer this question, we must go about it in an unorthodox way. There are two main parts that make up yourself. Those parts are your ego and your soul. 99% of people live through their ego for most of their life. You are your ego when you take part in your day-to-day activities. Whether it's through work, school, or simply buying groceries, you are driven by the chains of desire. Every action you take during these temporal moments are for the sole purpose of satisfying your ego. However, this is not necessarily a bad thing, more on this later. If 99% of people live through their ego most of their life, then 1% of them live through their soul. These are the people of the world who have achieved spiritual enlightenment. In other words, total presence. When you reach this point, you are no longer bound by the chains of desire. In fact, you're not bound by anything at all. You can simply enjoy the process of being alive, and that's enough. Now, let's go back to the question I asked at the start of the video. What is the most valuable thing you can possess? The answer: fulfillment. Fulfillment comes when you've satisfied your ego and lived true to your soul. Now the question is, how do I satisfy my ego and live true to my soul? The answer is actually relatively simple, but easier said than done. While you live through your ego, I'd say you can satisfy it with direction. In other words, your ego is satisfied when you set goals and complete them, and then repeat the process. The human brain is wired to be happiest when we solve problems. After all, what would be the point of us being here if everything was perfect? Living through your soul is a bit more challenging to achieve. But even people who aren't spiritually enlightened can still do it. In fact, I guarantee you have in the past without understanding it in the moment. You are living through your soul when you do not demand anything of the universe. This can happen at random times and usually only for a short moment. Maybe it comes when you take a sip of hot coffee on a cold day, or suddenly realize how beautiful the sunset is, or when you're hugging a loved one. These moments, although fleeting, are when you are completely present. There are no thoughts in your mind and no desires that need to be catered to. Write down what I'm about to tell you. Tape it to your wall and review it every day. Fulfillment comes when you can live through the duality of yourself to the fullest extent and whenever you please. If you don't understand this, the basic gist of it is to be able to pick and choose which version of yourself you live through at any given moment. But I'd still encourage you to analyze the phrase and make it understandable in your own way. Being able to do this is not something that can be taught like writing or arithmetic. You can be guided in the right direction, but ultimately you must be the one to discover it through introspection and determination. Achieving this is the most valuable thing anyone can possess. If you want to talk with me one-on-one, DM me on Discord and we can set up a time to call. And if you like me even just a little bit, consider subscribing so I can tell you more cool things. As always, I'm Levi, and thank you for listening.